Hi guys, today we're going to be doing a different kind of video on the channel, and basically it's just a real estate Q&A. I went to Instagram to ask a few people what real estate questions they had, and I got a lot of questions back. So hopefully I get to cover all of them in this video. Otherwise I'll be covering some more questions in future videos, so stay tuned for that. But let's get to it. One person had 9 questions that they asked me, so I'm going to speed round through them. So the first question was, how much should a home buyer put down for a down payment? So should and could are two different things. You can put as little as 3.5% down for your first home. VA buyers, so that'll be military, can put as little as 0% down. Although what you should put down depends on your financial situation. Your monthly payments are going to be lower with the more that you put down. So that's just something to think about. Also, if you put less than 20% down, you will have to pay what's called private mortgage insurance, also known as PMI. And that's gonna be an extra monthly cost that is added on to your mortgage payments. So that's also something to think about when determining what your down payment should be. The next question is, what is everything included in the sale of the home? So this is gonna be a question that your agent will ask when you're purchasing a home, and the inclusions of a home are typically going to be right there on the listing itself, so you should have a good idea of what you'll be getting. But just to be thorough, it is also in the purchase contract and it can be renegotiated throughout escrow as well. Typically, you have your main appliances like a refrigerator, your washer and dryer, things like that come with the home. But sometimes that's not the case, so it's just good to be aware of what you are purchasing with your home. The next question here is, should I save for moving expenses and how much? So you should absolutely save for moving expenses. On top of that, closing costs. There are quite a bit of closing costs that you will incur in escrow. Your typical moving expenses are just going to be the gas that you take from moving your things from one home to the other. And if you do hire movers, then the few $100 or however much you spend there to pay the movers to move things from your current place of living to your new home. The next 3 questions are also going to be something to ask when purchasing a home. So that's going to be how old the roof is, and if the appliances are in good condition, and what the neighborhood is like, what the schools in the neighborhood is like for the home that you are purchasing. So these are really great questions to ask when you are writing out a contract or when you're getting ready to go into escrow. And in terms of the condition of things, that is something that you would be able to find out with your home inspection, and your home inspection is going to be one of the very first things in escrow. Whatever the findings are too much for you to bear, and there aren't any credits or concessions that can make up for this on the seller's behalf, then that is a good point for you to back out of escrow and make sure that you're not stuck with a home that's falling apart. And the last 2 questions from my friend here is just about how to buy your home or how to prepare for buying your home. And this was the #1 question that I got from most people, is just how to prepare for buying your first home. So I'm gonna actually save this question to the very end. So if you're interested in knowing how to prepare to buy your very first home and what needs to get done, then wait till the end and I'll give you the answer. Moving on to another person who gave some really great questions. He gave me 5 questions here. So one of the questions he said was, should I order a home inspection before selling or buying a home? And I would say that you would not necessarily need to buy a home inspection before escrow. Sometimes sellers will have home inspections that they conduct and then provide to the buyers because it's nice to do, but in competitive markets, sellers aren't typically going to be providing home inspections since that is an extra expense on their behalf. Typically, you order the home inspection right after you get into escrow. The buyer, the seller agrees on who's going to pay for that. Typically, it's the buyer, although it depends on what market you're in. And from there, when you conduct your home inspection and you get back the findings as a buyer, you can ask for repairs, credits, or you can back out of the transaction. So that's something that I can go into a little bit later, is how to utilize the home inspection portion of the purchase contract and of the home buying process. The next question that we have here is, how long will it take to buy or sell a home? It's gonna take 60 days whether you're buying or selling. When you're buying, you have to account for the amount of time that you're actually searching for the home. Unless you know exactly what home that you want to buy right out of the gate, then that's a different story. When you're selling or buying, the prep part of everything before getting into escrow typically takes a month. It can take way shorter or way longer. It depends on your situation. And beyond that, escrow is typically 30 days. 30 days because that's how long it usually takes to get your final loan approval, depending on your lender and depending on the complications of your loan. And those 30 days are allotted for all of the inspections and negotiating and things like that to be done in the escrow process. The escrow process can also be 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. It could be shorter than 30 days. If you are a all cash, then it can definitely be shorter than 30 days because you don't have to wait for loan approval and you don't have to wait for an appraisal. So it really is case to case, but typically I would say 60 days from the day that you get your pre-approval or the day that you decide to sell. The next question, what do I need to do to get my home ready to sell? And I know this was asked by another person as well who was saying, what are the value adds to selling? So I would say here in Hawaii, a huge value add is going to be solar panels. And this company is really, really great for solar panels. They're a local company that will help you and they're just carry a lot of integrity. So I would recommend them. But when it comes to value adds and how to get your home ready, the main things that I talk about besides solar panels, just because they're great for the environment and a great value add, is painting the interior. The reason that painting the interior is kind of a bigger deal is because if you repaint it, it makes the home feel newer. And if there's a faint new paint smell when the new buyers are going through, then it makes them feel like the home is newer and not lived in and run down, and people tend to like something newer. So that is a huge help. Also, any major visual problems, since people are going to be coming into the home and trying to imagine themselves living there, if there's any cheap ways that you can make your home more appealing and more fresh and new, then I would recommend that. And on top of that, I would always stand by staging. I think the latest statistics for staging is that it increases the sale price of your home by 20%, which is a crazy amount if you really think about it. And this isn't increasing how fast it is or increasing your chances of selling, it's increasing the sale price of your home by 20% by just adding staging. So that's definitely something to think about as well when you're going to sell your home. When is the best time to buy or sell? And this is probably a lot of people's question right now, especially because the market is shifting. Everyone was saying that the market isn't going to crash, and we still don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to crash or if it's going to correct itself or anything like that, or if it's going to keep going up. I do see that prices are not where they used to be, at least in Mililani, where I'm focusing my attention to right now. You know, things are really moving, and the best time to buy or sell is when you are ready. If you are ready to buy, the best time is going to be now. If you have the money and you have an idea of where you want to live and your lifestyle is ready for you to purchase a home, then something to keep in mind, especially with the interest rates rising right now, is that you marry the home, but you date the rate. So just an advice tip, if you guys don't know too much about real estate or benefits of owning a home, is obviously you're purchasing that home and that home is now yours. But if you're afraid of the interest rates and the fact that they are a little bit higher and they could go higher even more, something to think about is refinancing. So refinancing is an option where if the interest rates were to ever go down, you can refinance and get that lower interest rate. And of course there are certain things that are involved in that process, but you are never going to be stuck with the interest rate forever. There are lots of programs that have allowed people to refinance, cash out refi, HELOC, all of these things, these terms and verbs that I can go over another time. But just know that if you're ready to buy and you've saved up, the graphs and statistics show that over time, if you have a long-term mindset, that your home will appreciate. And this is never going to be a guarantee because nobody can predict the future. But from the day that we started recording home sales until now, homes have appreciated. And it might not always have been year-over-year appreciation, but year over 5 years has a good trend rate. And I'm never ever going to guarantee that if you buy now, you will sell for more next year or the year after that. It is statistically proven that if you buy in a few years, you have a good chance of selling for more than what you bought for, and you have built equity through real estate, which is the biggest reason why people buy real estate, is to build their equity. That's all I'm gonna say about when you should buy and sell. And another question, what can I do or what should I do if my house isn't selling? So if your home isn't selling, there are a bunch of different strategies that realtors can provide to you, and it depends on what you feel most comfortable doing and also what you can afford to do. Because some people can't afford to have their home sit on the market. But something that I will say is that if your house is sitting on the market for a longer period of time, people may start to think that there is something wrong with the home, which is more of a psychological thing and can mess with people's minds. So what I would recommend is taking it off the market and doing whatever needs to be done to kind of revamp the home and give it a new big reopening. Typically, you can take the home off the market for 30 days and then put it back on and it's a clean slate. But other than that, something that you could do when your home isn't selling is additional marketing. If your agent did not email market internationally, have them do that. Yes, it is possible. That's what I would say if your home isn't selling. And obviously there are a lot of other options for you, but I would say never get discouraged and make sure that you're covering all your bases. So now we have some more lending based questions, and so what I'm gonna do is refer to my lender. We're gonna have a lender come on here and talk about those things, but I'll quickly go over what I can with these questions. One of the questions is how to figure out your budget, and basically the best thing to do is either use a mortgage calculator or just talk directly with the lender. Figuring out your budget is going to be figuring out how much you can afford for your down payment, your closing costs, your monthly payments, things like that. And again, I would recommend just talking to a lender because they can easily tell you what your affordability is, and then you don't have to figure it out for yourself. And consultations with lenders are free, and if they're for some reason not free, talk to my lender. It is definitely free to figure out what your budget is. Another question was what factors can affect how much your mortgage payments will be. Your credit score can affect it, current interest rates can affect it, how many points you pay at the beginning can affect it. 1 point equals 1% of the loan amount, and you can pay these points to bring down your monthly interest rate. These are just some of the things, but again, I'll have my lender come on and talk a little bit more about that. Now, the last question, which was asked by a lot of people, is basically how do I get ready for buying a home and what is the first step? So I'm just gonna put this in the grand scheme of things because you might not have the money or be in the financial situation to buy a home today. So even though everybody says that the first step to buying a home is getting pre-approved, the first step to buying a home is having the money. And if you're a VA buyer, you still need the closing costs and you still need to be able to show that proof of funds. So no matter what, you need to have the money to purchase a home. I know that sounds scary, but it really, really isn't. There are so many people out there that their whole job is to help you manage your money, and it's way more important than you might think. First thing is just having the money. When you decide that you want to be a homeowner someday in your life, the first thing that you should do is save money. Saving money is so important because even if it's $50 a month and that's all you can afford to save, imagine how much that's going to be over time. This is how much it's going to be over time. And if you don't think that you can afford in Hawaii, there are so many different options that we can go over, and we can talk about what it takes to purchase a home in Hawaii, because it is definitely not impossible and it is definitely doable. And that's a huge passion of mine, is to be able to show everybody that it is possible to own a home, especially here in Hawaii. The first step is save your money. Save your money and prepare to put a down payment or to put closing costs. After saving your money and knowing that you're getting closer to wanting to buy a home, I would say have your team ready. Your team is going to be your realtor and your lender. And on top of that, you can have your financial planner, someone that might be helping you with your credit score. If your credit score isn't where you want it to be, things like that, there are some extra team members that can be included. But definitely your realtor and your lender. So once you decide that you're getting really close and you're saving your money and you're ready to start looking at what it takes to buy a home in the next 6 months, year, whatever it may be, talk with the lender and talk about getting pre-approved. Talk about what it's gonna take, what your budget looks like, and how much money you actually need saved for what the market is looking like. Talk about your finances. It's really important, and sometimes it's scary to share your finances with another person, but that person is there for you, and your gain is also their gain, and it just takes finding the right lender that you trust to work with you on getting to you to where you want to be. The other half of that is your realtor, and that again is someone that you trust and are happy working with, and they're going to help you prepare for the home buying process because it is a legal transaction. And in case you didn't know this from my social media videos everywhere, buyer's agents are free, so you do not have to pay a penny to an agent. They are a free professional to you. always recommend getting one. After you either get pre-approved or figure out what it takes to get pre-approved, then that's when you can start searching for your home. You talk with your realtor about what you're looking for, what your needs are, and go and find a home. From there, you're already in the game. So that's what it takes to start getting ready to buy a home. I would just say save money and know what you want, know what your needs are, and have good expectations of what the market is like. Other than that, I know there are so many questions, and I really thank everybody who gave me the questions for this video today. I really appreciate you guys and your support. I'm going to create more videos like this, so if you do have questions, either leave them down below or DM me on Instagram, sam.bergen. But thank you guys so much again. I really hope that I answered the questions in a way that you could understand, but if you have follow-up questions about anything I talked about, please feel free to reach out to me in any form. I'm always happy to answer questions for free. If you want help with anything, I'm always going to be here for you. So thank you guys again for your support, and I really hope that this helped you with your home buying journey. Thank you guys, and have a great day.